Hi students, welcome to Bosco Campus Vision. I am Shankar Ganesh, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Application, Don Bosco College, Kottayam. I am delighted to present a lecture on the subject Computer Fundamentals and Organization. This lecture is meant for Semester 1 BCA course of Kerala University. In this lecture, we are going to discuss the main memory. The main memory or primary memory acts as the central storage unit in a computer system. It holds only those data and instructions on which the computer is currently working. It has a limited capacity and data is lost when power is switched off. It is generally made up of semiconductor device. These memories are not as fast as registers. The data and instruction required to be processed resides in the main memory. It is divided into two subcategories. First one RAM, that is random access memory. Second one ROM, that is read-only memory. Random access memory. RAM is the internal memory of the CPU for storing data, program and program result. It is a read or write memory which stores data until the machine is working. As soon as the machine is switched off, data is erased. Access time in RAM is independent of the address, that is, each storage location inside the memory is as easy to reach as other locations and takes the same amount of time. Data in the RAM can be accessed randomly, but it is very expensive. RAM is volatile, that is, data stored in it is lost when we switch off the computer or if there is a power failure. Hence, a backup uninterruptible power system, that is UPS, is often used with computers. RAM is small both in terms of its physical size and in the amount of data it can hold. Integrated RAM chips can be of two types. First one, static RAM, that is SRAM. Second one, dynamic RAM, that is DRAM. Both types of RAM are volatile, as both lose their content when the power is turned off. Static RAM. Static RAM or SRAM is a type of random access memory that retains its state for data bits or holds data as long as it receives the power. It is made up of memory cells and is called a static RAM, as it does not need to be refreshed on a regular basis because it does not need the power to prevent leakage, unlike dynamic RAM. So, it is faster than DRAM. It has a special arrangement of transistors that makes a flip-flop a type of memory cell. One memory cell stores 1 bit of data. Most of the modern SRAM memory cells are made of 6 CMOS transistors but lack capacitors. The access time in SRAM chips can be as low as 10 nanoseconds. SRAM chips use a matrix of 6 transistors and no capacitors. Next is characteristics of static RAM. First one, long life. Second one, no need to refresh. Third one, faster. Fourth one, used as cache memory. Fifth one, large size. Sixth one, expensive. And seventh one, high power consumption. Next, we can discuss the dynamic RAM. Dynamic RAM or DRAM is also made up of memory cells. It is an integrated circuit made of millions of transistors and capacitors which are extremely small in size, and each transistor is lined up with a capacitor to create a very compact memory cell so that millions of them can fit on a single memory chip. So, a memory cell of a DRAM has one transistor and one capacitor, and each cell represents or stores a single bit of data in its capacitor within an integrated circuit. The capacitor holds this bit of information or data either as 0 or as 1. The transistor, which is also present in the cell, acts as a switch that allows the electric circuit on the memory chip to read the capacitor and change its state. The capacitor needs to be refreshed after regular intervals to maintain the charge in the capacitor. This is the reason it is called dynamic RAM. This is achieved by placing the memory on a refresh circuit that rewrites the data several hundred times per second. The access time in DRAM is around 60 nanoseconds. Next is characteristics of dynamic RAM. First one, short data lifetime. Second one, needs to be refreshed continuously. Third one, slower as compared to SRAM. Fourth one, used as RAM. Fifth one, smaller in size. Sixth one, less expensive. And seventh one, less power consumption. Next, we can discuss the types of DRAM. First one, asynchronous DRAM. This type of DRAM is not synchronized with the CPU clock. So, the drawback with this RAM is that CPU could not know the exact timing at which the data would be available from the RAM on the input output bus. Second one, synchronous DRAM. In SDRAM, the RAM was synchronized with the CPU clock. It allowed the CPU or to be precise the memory controller to know the exact clock cycle or timing or the number of cycles after which the data will be available on the bus. So, the CPU does not need for the memory accesses and thus the memory read and write speed can be increased. Third one, DDR SDRAM. It was developed to overcome the limitations of SDRAM. In DDR SDRAM, the data is transferred twice during each clock cycle during the positive edge and the negative edge of the cycle. So, it is known as the double data rate SDRAM. Next, we can discuss the difference between static RAM and dynamic RAM. First one, SRAM is a static memory as it does not need to be refreshed repeatedly, whereas DRAM is a dynamic memory as it needs to be refreshed continuously or it will lose the data. Second one, in SRAM, memory cell is made of 6 transistors, so its cells occupy more space on a chip, whereas in DRAM, memory cell is made of 1 transistor and 1 capacitor, so its cells occupy less space on a chip. Third one, SRAM is more expensive than DRAM and is located on processors or between a processor and main memory, whereas DRAM is less expensive than SRAM and is mostly located on the motherboard. Fourth one, SRAM has a lower access time, so it is faster than DRAM, whereas DRAM has a higher access time, so it is slower than SRAM. Fifth one, SRAM stores information in a bistable latching circuitry. It requires regular power supply, so it consumes more power, whereas in DRAM, the information or each bit of data is stored in a separate capacitor within an integrated circuit, so it consumes less power. In this lecture, we have discussed the main memory. Hope all of you have understood the lecture. Thank you.